Evening, everyone. Well, first of all, I've got to make a big apology. For some, I don't know why I did that. I set this stream up and I created it on a Saturday for like 9:30 this morning. Now, I never do that. I never do morning streams. So I have to apologise to every single person. If you were watching this morning and I didn't turn up, I do apologise because normally I get it bang on. Um, I think it was probably because I set that stream up on the early hours of the morning and I probably had a little one too many and I didn't set it for 21:30. I set it for 9:30, which is a big schoolboy error. So I do apologise to every single person if you were there waiting this morning. Right, so let's get into this. I had a couple of three people ask me to talk about my Millwall away days and Millwall games um, because they are actually Millwall fans. So I said, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do that. That'd be something different. So anyway, um, my first trip to Millwall was a bit of a weird one. Um, it was in September 1978, and uh, it wasn't an Arsenal game. It was actually Millwall versus Crystal Palace. Now you're going to ask why were you, Jez, going to a Millwall Crystal Palace game? Well, the reason was that August I'd started my apprenticeship as a gas engineer, 3-year apprenticeship, and we had a 9-week basic induction course at the Old Kent Road Gasworks to learn basically how to cut pipe, how to thread lead iron pipe, solder a joint, real basic training to learn. So we had options. We had the option of either travelling every day. Now, our college, I was working for North Thames Gas, had a severe fire, so we couldn't go there. So we were ferreted out to South East Gas, which was in Bermondsey, South London, just off the Old Kent Road. 709 Old Kent Road was our address for that training college. And we had the option of travelling every day, free travel, paid for by the company, or we had the other option was to stay in digs. So a few of us from getting from where we were in North London to down to South London, Bermondsey for an 8 o'clock start in the morning was a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. So what we did, I opted to take the option of staying in digs. So I ended up staying in a house with a lovely old lady, with another guy, Damien Clark, who I still speak to this very day. He now lives in Australia. To be put up there. And now this old lady was a proper South Londoner. Proper South Londoner. Looked after us brilliantly every morning, full English breakfast, go to college, come home, get home at 5, and she would cook us a proper nice evening meal. And we weren't, I mean, I was 17 then, so legally wasn't supposed to go to the pubs, but she was a proper, how can I put it? She was like a very well respected lady in the area. So we were staying in digs in Silent Road, which joined between Queen's Road and Old Kent Road. Now, why am I telling this boring information? Because it will come out in a minute. So at college, me and my mate Damien, we were there and we met a guy there called Andy Bell. Still speak to him. He was a Millwall fan, along with quite a few of the boys that were in our class because they were all from the area, Bermondsey, and they were hardened Millwall fans. I'm not saying they were part of all the grief and everything, but who knows? Who knows? And it came upon that one day Andy said, hey, have you ever been to a Millwall game? And I said, He knew I was an Arsenal fan. No animosity, no problem. And he said, I said, no, never been. No. He said, well, this weekend coming up, we're playing Crystal Palace at home. It's always an entertaining game. I went, yeah, I can believe it. Now, this was at the height of all the troubles in football, right? And at the time, Millwall crew were not called the Bushwhackers, they were called the F Troop. And they also had another sort of crew that was called the Halfway Liners, which was like a junior sort of like setup, if you like. Young kids, 14, 16-year-olds, and they were apparently, I mean, I don't know, never saw them apart from this one time I went to Millwall. So here we are, it's a Saturday. Now, normally on a Friday, we'd go home and come back on a Monday. But we said to this old lady, can we stay for the Saturday? And so we can go to this football match. And she was more than happy with that, more than happy. So, I ran my mum on the, I can't remember, whatever it was. I said, look, we're not coming back till Sunday. We're going to this football match in Millwall. And my mum wasn't happy about it, but, it is what it is. So it's all set up, and we decided to meet Andy at New Cross Gate, which was basically the nearest overground train station at the time to the old Den. So you've got to remember, the old Den was at Coldblow Lane. Now, this is one of the worst grounds I've ever had the experience to have to walk to. One of the worst ever, because you're walking through all the estates of Bermondsey and all that. It was a nightmare. Now, so we're going off to this game, Millwall Palace, and Andy said, look, we're going to meet up with a few of my mates. They're all right. They're not a problem. Just don't get mouthy. So, yeah, okay, cool. I knew the score. Me and Damien knew the score. And the ironical thing about this, right, was Damien was a Crystal Palace fan. So we make our way there. We go down to get to New Cross Gate, which is easy for us from where we were. Get the bus, top of Asylum Road, down Queen Street, straight down the Old Kent Road, and you're straight into New Cross Gate. So off we get, and we start walking through. And big up Nav, and off we go. Big up Luke, man. Vigilante, hope you're well, mate. I'm fine. I hope you're well. The boss, Lado Jez, big up, man, big up. Smash up the likes, people, smash the subs. On the way to 10k. It will take forever, we all know that, but hey. Andrew Macari, aka Packer Project, big up, Jez, big up to you, my friend. Sorry if you're watching this morning, I do apologise. Stephen, big up Stephen Gilchrist. Good evening, Jez. I live 5 minutes from the new Den, Millwall, Old Kent Road. That's me. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to you. Yeah, Millwall it was fucking rough, man. Well, it's actually really Bermondsey, but Jez, were the underground dangerous back then? Yeah, no, not as no. I wouldn't say they were as bad probably as they are today. When you get idiots walking around with knives and all that shit, but yeah, he could get caught out. But anyway, there we go. Let's move it on. Jez, what is your favourite World Cup goal? Bloody hell. Do you know, mate? I don't really know. I'm not a massive international football fan, to be honest. I have to come back to you on that one. Ask me again in a bit. What was your favourite Arsenal goal? Wow, come on. I've got several of them, my friend. I've got to be careful here because Mama's in the chat. Of course, Bergkamp against Newcastle was something special. Charlie Jules scoring the winner against Liverpool in the 71 FA Cup final. Thomas scoring the goal at Anfield, 89. I could go on. Big up, Mama. Hope you're well. Yeah. Evening chat, Mama's saying big up. Jez one, big up, man. Big up to you, Jam Boy. Big up, Mama Flossie. Yeah, sorry, Mama. I had to say it. I'm so sorry. I had to say it. I was at that game and it still sticks in my head. Anyway, let's move this on. Now, so there we are. We've got the new Crossgate. We're walking up through the estates, right? And we're just one of the Millwall. You know, we're not being loud. We're not doing anything. And eventually get to Cold Blow Lane. And it is a journey getting there. I won't lie. It's not an enjoyable journey, but we were part of the Millwall, I suppose we would put it that way. And so there's no dramas for us. So we got in the ground. Shitty old ground that was at the time. It was a shithole. I won't lie. And I looked at it. I thought, coming here as an away fan is going to be a problem. Because the away end was like walking through somebody's front door. It was like proper shit. So anyway, the game started, proper trouble, a lot of trouble. Millwall and Crystal Palace were having it off, and it got quite naughty, loads of police. But the game eventually ended up with a 3-0 win to Crystal Palace. So my mate Damien was well happy, but he had to literally keep his mouth shut. Otherwise, he would have got done proper. But anyway, getting out the ground, we had to make our way back out. And it was carnage everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Walking out, Andy basically said, look, you know, he was going another way. He wasn't coming back to New Cross Gate with us. So we are really in no man's land here, right? We're not really aware where we are, but we try to make our way back to where we'd come from. And it took us probably 40 minutes to get out and get back. And it wasn't enjoyable, even though technically we were neutrals. There was a lot of trouble. The Millwall F Troop were back then pretty well. They were for a number of years, pretty bloody naughty. Anyway, we got back to New Cross Gate, got back down to Queen's Road, and back down to Asylum Road, and got home quite safely, really. But it was not, the thing is, it's not an enjoyable experience when you're totally out your territory. You don't know where you are. And that was probably my first real bad experience of an away game, apart from, as I told you before, Tottenham, 23rd December 78. But it was a different game. It was a different thing, different experience. But from that, I did learn quite a lot to be aware at Millwall, because it was pretty rough. Because we're all around that area, even if the people weren't Millwall F Troop, or there's a lot of people that were only too happy to do you over. And thankfully, neither myself or Damien got questioned by anybody, because you know what's going to happen if you get in the wrong place at the wrong time and you are acting suspicious, and you get a load of the home fans question you, and you know what they're going to come out with. All right, mate. Haven't seen you before. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Give it all that. Who? Yeah. Who is playing in the team for Millwall tonight? And if you can't answer that question, you're fucked. You are done. I've had it many times. I've been caught out. Yeah, Stoke, Birmingham. But that night we were lucky. We got away with it. We just kept ourselves to ourselves. Quick, smart walk. Got out. Walking through those estates, I can assure you, is not a nice story. But anyway, we were there. So anyway, that was that experience. And the next time was a long time later. Now, I went to, I think it was two games away at Millwall before they moved their grounds from the old den, Coldblow Lane, down to where the new den is now. So Millwall away, Division 1, and it was February 1989, 11th of February. I had to look that date up, actually. It's not in my memory. I had to look it up. It's Millwall Arsenal, Division 1. And we've gone down there to the old grounds again. And all hell broke loose. All hell. I'm just going to do some of these chats. Kawaji Jez, don't worry, no one is better than Super Mick. Oh, yeah. Hendon, big up, Hendo. Give him a man Floss and Kawaji Jahil. Big up, man. Hope you're well. J Real 1 M Day J Jam Boy. Big up, Hendon, doing any more news on the meetup, mate. Kawaji says, Eagle, if we get Grockers, I think we win the Premier League next season. Yeah, well, you know what he's like. Andrew McCarry, aka Packer Project, says definitely not a good place to be. No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Not even to this day, I believe. I haven't been there for years. But I've got another story about that 2 Christmases ago. Big up Mama Flossie. Big up Keith, man. Big up Keith. And Adam, hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're very well. Who was worse, Millwall, West Ham? Both, mate. Both, Gareth. Sorry that I missed you this morning. That's totally my fault, my friend. I posted the wrong time. T-Bag, big up, man. Even Jez and chat, big up to you, my friend. And yeah, yeah. Millwall, West Ham, who's the worst? Both as bad as each other, to be honest. T-Bag says Zulu's household name. Good lads, though, if you get to know them. Quite a few of them did doors. Don't know that one. The new one is better than the new ground. You talk about the new den. It's not as bad as the old one. That was a nightmare, that place. It's always Millwall, says Stephen. Rob, love you, Jez. Been following you since 2022 when you started your first channel. Keep it up and always ignore the haters. Big up to you, man. Thank you very much indeed. Gavin L, big up, Jez. Big up, man. AFC always question Jez 1979. 32-year-old John Collins made a surprise move from QPR to the Arsenal brought as a cover player but ended up as a regular. Yeah, it is true. It is true, mate. Yeah, he's a decent player as well. Did good service for Arsenal. Hendo, just real one. Just waiting to hear from down Oregon Goon when he gets to the UK in August. We'll look for a pub venue that would be somewhere easily accessible in London. You've got to go up to Islington, man. You've got to go there, man. You've got to go there. You've got to show them around. I might be back, actually. We might be coming back early now. We've got a few things we've got to sort out back in the UK. So we might be coming back early. Ten can be good, but it'll take forever. KE, how good was Highbury Stadium? I never had the chance to go there. It was the best of the best, mate. Best of the best. Forget this bloody shithole of a ground we got now. Absolute embarrassment. Yeah. You got any West? Yeah, mate. I've got loads of West Ham ones. Went to West Ham more than I ever went to Millwall. It's because we didn't play Millwall. I think we've only ever played Millwall 9 times. 8 times? 9 times in the history. Ali Bernard, big up, man. Injuries don't make football history memorable. Only trophies do that. Very true. Good comment. Love these shows. Just helped a lot to get through the bad stuff in life. Well, I hope you're not having too bad a time, my friend. Ali Bernard says, love the knowledge and the information. Thank you, mate. Right, let's get back into it. So, here we are. 11th February, 89. We're away at Millwall, down Coldblow Lane. And now it's a different situation. Different situation. Big up Gavin, man. And big up to Joseph. It's now Arsenal walking down to Millwall. And there's about 4,500, 5,000, I think. 4.5 maybe, maximum. And this is at the peak now. You know, there's serious aggravation going all over. So many people took many journeys to get in different directions to get there. The police were all over the place. They're looking out for the Arsenal firms. So you had to really keep your head down. So getting from whichever way you wanted to travel, basically from Arsenal Tube, I'd take you back down to Victoria, and then or you could cut across to try and get down Bank down to London Bridge, and from London Bridge you're basically there. And then you got the overground to New Cross Gate, which at the time was the easiest place if you're Arsenal to get to. But then you've got the long walk of through the estates. And if you've ever watched certain films, it does depict it a little bit of how those back streets are. I'm not saying those films are truthful, but it gives you an idea. Because back then you had a lot of backstreet London pubs. And the Millwall home pub was the Carpenters. I believe it was called the Carpenters. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it was called the Carpenters. And that was the home pub. So you didn't want to walk in there. West Ham did once, apparently. And it was a massive problem. They tried to burn the place down. But getting back to the old den, getting in the ground was an absolute. It was like literally walking through somebody's back door. Kawaji, yeah, let's hope it is, man. Unless he wins something big, then he's got to go, isn't he? No more excuses. No more excuses. Simple as that. So we get to the ground, and it wasn't a particularly great game of football. Arsenal walked out. This is Division 1, don't forget. George Graham era. So you know the football's like. And don't forget, we'd nicked him from Millwall in 86. So you can imagine the amount of shit he was getting. So at the end of the day, we were in there and Arsenal win the game 2-1. Alan Smith and Brian Marwood score the 2 goals. The Millwall player, don't even know his name, to be honest, so I can't even tell you that. Binks says, I grew up in an area between West Ham and Spurs supporters, rock and a hard place. I detested the hooliganism and racism endemic around West Ham at that time. So Arsenal, it was at age 9. Made the best choice then, my friend. You made that choice very well. I remember going with with my girlfriend to see Millwall versus Arsenal. 3rd round, the FA Cup, it was walking towards them. Now, I know what you're talking about there. You're talking about 1995. It was at Arsenal. That's the game. I was there, man. And we're going to talk about that at the end, to be honest. I was at that game. Joseph said, at J Real and Defo, be a pleasure. You're a good guy and my bro. Hendon Gooner, that was mid-90s, wasn't it? Maybe 95, 96. Didn't we lose 1-0? No, it's 2-0, man. FA Cup third round. What are your 5 top Arsenal players of all time? Well, simple, isn't it, really? Ray Kennedy, for me, back in the day in the 70s. Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. I'm going to throw a goalkeeper in there as well. This one might surprise you, John Lukic, and defender Tony Adams. Without legend, I mean, I could name loads. I could. Oh Christ! I put Liam Brady in there as well. You know what I mean? So, anyway, so there we are. We've been down the old dent. Getting out was an absolute nightmare. The Millwall were everywhere. The fighting in the terraces had been like something I'd never seen. I'd seen bad fighting, but this was like on a different fucking level. Different level. And getting out of there was not funny because unless you know the layout of the area, right, you had people throwing plastic bottles out of flat windows full of piss. Don't forget, we're getting escorted out back down to New Cross Gate to get the fuck out of there. And it was not a nice time, I can assure you. But we got out, got home, moved on. So the next time was 11th of November, 89, Division 1. Same score, Arsenal 1-2-1. And that was Quinn and Michael Thomas, if I remember rightly. It is Niall Quinn, Michael Thomas. But this time, getting to the ground was the worst of the worst. Now, I've been to some grounds where it's been an absolute shit show. Everton going down the county road to Goodison. That could be a bad day out. Going to Hull for an FA Cup game. I've talked about that before. What a nightmare that was. Going to Stoke. But this particular game, this was awful. There was all kinds of shit going on now. Now, there was bottles being thrown. There was all kinds of stuff. And this lot were coming out of every single alleyway you could ever think of. Back garden, sort of like terrace, I say terrace, but there was little like alleyways, if you want to call them, twittens. There's a name for them. Little twittens, little back street like streets, not streets, but little alleyways. And they'd be coming out of there like 20, 30, jumping in before you met up with the escort. And it was, I won't lie, it was proper scary. Proper scary. Because you just didn't know what was going to happen. Because that lot, I think at the time it was still called the F Troop. Or they may have changed back then to the Bushwhackers. They did change their name. I don't know exactly when. But they were proper wrong-uns. Proper wrong-uns. Now, there was one top boy there. I think his name was Ginger Joe, something like that. Never met him, never saw him, but he was a proper naughty boy. And again, getting in the ground was a nightmare. And again, it all kicked off. Now, this is when we'd had coming up to, it hadn't happened yet, but it was coming up to the horrendous thing the following year. they had the horrible thing that was coming up with the Hillsborough disaster. This is probably one of the worst crush situations I've ever been in. It was basically too many Arsenal to get into where the away end was, and the police were just pushing fans in, and it was proper not nice. And I've had crushes at Arsenal in the North Bank, but this is the worst that I've ever come across. But not enjoyable. Didn't enjoy the game at all. We walked out 2-1. Happy with the result, but we just wanted to get the fuck out of there. And once again, coming out, trying to get back down to New Cross Gate to get back out over the overground train back to London Bridge and fuck off was awful. All the way. And this is quite a long walk, right? This isn't like a quarter of a mile. This is about half a mile, right? And you've got to follow it out. And that's not adults here, it's kids. 10, 12-year-old kids coming out throwing bottles at you, right? And they throw them, run, all kinds of shit. And the infamous old chisel dart thing came out, right? Throwing them. I know a few guys got hit by them, and it left quite a nasty wound. So it was not a good day out. Kawaji says the Liverpool Man United rivalry, the best rivalry in English football. One of them, Tottenham Arsenal ain't good, and West Ham Millwall's probably the worst. I've never been, and I'd never want to go Millwall Arsenal or vice versa. They hate each other with a vengeance. Apparently it's historical. I'm led to believe. I've been told a reason for it, but I don't know if it's true. What would you say is the worst hooliganism you've seen? Well, we're going to come into that, mate. Going to come into that. I've seen a lot of bad hooliganism back in the day. AFC always says, just my top 5 Arsenal players: Adams, Brady, Vieira, Bergkamp, Henry. Yeah, I'm pretty close to you with that one. Andrew McCurry said, back then the police often started it, or at least let it happen. Yeah, there's two sides to that one. Yeah, I'm not sure they started it, but they certainly enjoyed watching it because they didn't have enough there to control it. Nowadays, of course, you've got so much CCTV. It don't happen. Big up, Stephen, man. We'll have to say goodbye for now. Just big up to you, my friend. Working late, but always a pleasure to hear your life experience as an Arsenal fan. Much respect. Big up to you, Stephen. Big up to you, my friend. Yeah, they were crazy times, mate, Andrew. They were. It was Ginger Bob, wasn't it? Was it Ginger Bob? I never met him. You have to have balls to go to away days. It's not so bad nowadays, mate. It's nothing like it used to be. Big up Glasgow CSC. Big up to you. Big up to you, mate. Dan, big up to you, my friend. Hope you're well. Which stadium was the worst to go to for an away match? Probably in London. It's got to be Tottenham or Millwall. I've been to many West Ham games, but no, I never really encountered any. Personally, I never encountered any trouble at West Ham. To be honest with you, never had a big problem. Where's that gone? I'm trying to catch it up. There you go. Jez, remember the naughty 40s hooliganism? Yeah, I do very well, my friend. You remember seeing Andrew? So I remember seeing the cops throwing bottles at folks. I never saw that. I saw them with their batons out there, mate. So let's move this on. So the next trip down to this is now the new den. The new den, because the old den's now been demolished. I mean, Millwall have now moved to their new ground, and at the time it was a very nice ground. So gone down there, and it was so easy to get to this one, much easier for an away fan than having to go to New Cross Gate and walk through the estates where you knew you were going to get trouble. You knew it. So we moved down to there, the New Den. Now this is January '94. It's the FA Cup. Arsenal win 1-0. Tony Adams is the scorer. And all goes okay. Not overly amount of trouble in the ground, but coming out of it, getting out and walking down Ballina Road to get to South Bermondsey overground station, that was fucking horrendous. We got there was about 30 of us as a group. We got jumped straight in, and you had all these Millwall lot, had all kinds of tools, and they were like proper giving it some big one. They'd like proper naughty they were. They had iron bars, all kinds of shit, crowbar type setups. Thankfully, as we got to South Bermondsey, overland, the police turned up and broke it all up. But it was one of them ones where if you ran and split up, you were going to get yourself proper done over. So it's one of them things. What do? Do you stay and get a punch, or do you stay, or you run and get the shit kicked out of you? Well, you stayed, didn't you? Safety in numbers, I think, is the old saying. But it was a naughty time. It was a naughty time. And Liam said, "Oh, Jez, rivalry UK, Stoke versus Port Vale, Walsall versus Brum. I think, Stoke Port Vale is a bad one. Never been to a game, but I know the history. Walsall Brum, I don't know about that one. Wolves Aston Villa. That's a big one. That's a big problem, that one. I've never been to any of them games. Arsenal, Spurs, Arsenal, mate. It's always trouble. Kawaji, North London Forever Anthem is embarrassing. Now, the thing is, this is what makes me laugh, right? This Ashburton Army lot, they make it out. They give it all the big large at the Emirates. Outside the away ground, you don't hear of them. They don't see fuck all. They don't say nothing. They're an embarrassment, actually. If they were like a proper crew, as was back in the day, then that'd be different. But they ain't. They're just embarrassing. They sit in that tunnel on the, I think it's the Holloway Road, under the bridge, make it all the big large, then fuck off, and they do nothing. Yeah, it's a joke, really. So that's my 4 trips to Millwall. The guy that requested the show, he said, "Jez, would you ever go back?" No, not now. No, I can't be asked. Rob Future says, "Facts Kawaji, a song about crack dens and prostitutes sung by children every week." Yeah, exactly, mate. That's where we are. Embarrassment, man. Embarrassing song. Should be banned, if you ask my opinion. AFC always Ashburton Army only making their noise at home, not away. Yeah, they don't make it no shit away. They wouldn't stand up, mate. Apparently, I'm told by a very, very, very good source that they did start giving it some at the London Stadium, and they got chased off by West Ham. Yeah, no, okay, well done. Well fucking done. Jamie Wallace, 15-year-olds wearing fake Stone Island jumpers thinking they're the business. Oh, dear God. What? Is that true? People are wearing fake Stone Island. Is that true? Dear God almighty. I remember it all started back in the 70s. The first setup was Benetton. It was the old Benetton jumpers, and then it was Pringle. Pringle came in next, and then it moved on in the 90s, early 90s, wasn't it? Stone Island. Yeah, it's all bollocks, really. Kawaji says, Jez, do you think Win the Dog wants to go back to RSPCA? Probably, mate. Probably. But anyway, before we round it up, this is the last bit. So, somebody asked me earlier, what was the worst violence I ever saw between Millwall Arsenal? Well, that was at the FA Cup third round game at Highbury. Arsenal lost 2-0, and it was some of the worst violence I've ever seen at Highbury. I've seen a lot of violence away, but at Highbury, this was worse. This particular game, it was worse than any Arsenal Spurs game I've seen at Highbury. It was horrendous. There was a mob had got into the North Bank, right, of Millwall, probably 50 odd, something like that, kicking it off. The trouble in the clock end that we could see from the North Bank was unreal. Half time, Millwall were making their way up through the lower and upper, well, predominantly the lower west and east stands, just kicking the shit out of anybody. Didn't matter, anybody, old men. It was like just kicking the shit out of people. And the lot that got cornered in the North Bank got escorted back out down the side of the pitch back to the clock end, and it was just unbelievable. It's probably the worst violence I ever saw at Highbury. There was people getting carried out, knocked out, seriously bad cuts. And Millwall, to be honest, were a fucking disgrace. Absolute disgrace. They were picking on people, totally indefensible, kicking the shit out of people in their 60s and older. Yeah. There was reports that they attacked, or some people hit kids. I don't believe that's true. I never knew any evidence of that. But it was a shit show, man. And we also lost 2-0. So that was even better day out, wasn't it? But that about rounds it up, really. It's another journey that I've been asked to talk about. What are your 3 favourite World Cups? My first World Cup I ever watched was 1970 in Mexico. I remember the opening game, Russia against Mexico. It was 0-0. I remember being allowed to stay up and watch it. The next one's probably 78, Italian 90, or America 94, to be honest. Kawaji Jez, should Arteta have left after we bottled the lead being 8 points clear? Yep. In 22-23. Yeah, he should have gone. Kawaji said, Millwall charted Jean-Philippe Mateta to die after his horrific injury caused by the goalkeeper. Wouldn't surprise me, mate. That's what they're like. Terry says, Jez, how do you rank Dowman in terms of talent compared to, say, Wilshere? Mate, this guy's special, isn't he? Now, look, I'm not gassing it up here, right? I'm not gassing it up. From what I've seen of him in 2 pre-season friendlies, he looks silky, he looks quality, but it's too early days yet for me. He's 15, he's still got a long way to go. He needs to build physicality, but he's certainly one for the future. And we need to watch him, keep hold of him, But we know what things like Arteta do, right? He'll stick him out on loan somewhere. So there you go. Millwall goalkeeper calls matters horrific injury, and the Millwall fans said let him die. Well, mate, they are relentless down there. If you've not ever been there, then I wouldn't recommend it. But it's not as bad as it once was. I can assure you that. It was one of the worst football grounds I've ever been to as an away fan. Being Arsenal, the first one I went to wasn't so bad because I was sort of neutral. But going as an Arsenal fan, God knows what it must be like to go as a fucking West Ham fan. Dear God Almighty. Jesus Christ. Mohammed says, big up, Jez. Any thoughts on the Arsenal versus Spurs friendly game this Thursday? I think that'll be a draw, if you want my honest opinion. I will be watching it, though. I think it'll be a draw. I reckon it's going to be a ball fest, if you want my honest opinion. I think Gorokres will be playing, which will be great. AFC always says, Jez, Stoke fans away around the old Victoria ground. Yeah, Stoke. I met Stoke many times going to the old Victoria ground, my friend. Not a great day out. Kawaji says, Aaron is live soon. Jez, raid later, or maybe Jez. I don't know. Yeah, raid later. Yeah, if you want to raid, man, you raid. Kawaji, Martin Zupermendi and Rice should play the double pivot. Zupermendi can't handle the pressure. Yeah, I'm not being impressed overly yet. But, come on, let's let him settle into the team. You know, I'm not one of these people who's going to make judgment after just this amount of time. You know, people take time to adjust. Henri did, let's be honest. Yeah, when Henri first came in, he wasn't all that, was he? He took him quite a while to sit into his position, and then Wenger moved him out to the left wing, and the rest of that is all history, isn't it? So yeah, J Real One M DJ Jam Boy, big up man. I've been Millwall, West Ham, Upton Park, and he survived. Well done. Kawaji Jahil says 4-2-3-1 is better than 4-3-3. I'd go 4-4-2, mate. With what we've got, I'd go 4-4-2, personally. If you want my honest opinion on it, I'd go 4-4-2. But he won't. We know that because we know what Mikel does. AFC always, Jez, Declan Rice will be the next Arsenal player to get a grade 3. Let's hope not, mate. Let's hope not. I don't want to see any of these awful injuries in this squad this season. We can't afford it. You know, we've got to go for it now. It's either got to be Premier League or it's got to be a Champions League. I want an FA Cup as well, but I'm a greedy bastard. But we're going to see. We're going to see. But we'll yeah. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for the start of the season, to be honest. It's been a ball fest. And yeah. But I'm out of here, people. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. That's my experiences away at Millwall and the horrendous 195 at Highbury, which probably goes down certainly in my top 10 as one of the worst scenes of violence I've ever seen. Sorry about this morning. I totally cocked that up. I don't know why I said it for 9:30 in the morning. That's not like me. I'm an idiot. But thank you all for joining. Have a great week. Enjoy the football, whatever you're doing. Jay Real One M says, I think Saka could be in trouble if he gets overplayed again. Yeah. Well, we're going to wait and see, man. Kawaji, Jez, you're a legend. Nice to listen to your experiences. Thank you, my friend. You're always here. You're big support. I'm going to make you a mod, mate. I'm going to make you a mod. Mama, big up, Mama. Please hit the likes. Yeah, smash the likes up, people. It does help the channel. And for some reason, I've lost 4 subscribers. What the fuck's that about? Yeah, naughty. How was Paris? I hope it's good, buddy. I haven't been to Paris, mate. I'm nowhere near Paris. My friend. I'm down in Burgundy, near a place called Beaune. AFC always question Jess, if Arteta doesn't win a trophy, can you see the Cronkies sacking him? Or letting him run down his contract? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I think they're too soft to sack him, to be honest. The only time he's going to get sacked if he fails, it will be by the fans. In my belief. It'd be when the fans turn on him. Binks, big up, man. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I've got some more coming up. Some other people have asked some other stuff. Ems Beats, big up, Jezza. Big up to you, my friend. Hope you're well. Good night at Jez's Arsenal. And always watching. Have a lovely rest of your Monday night. I will, Hendo. I will. Big up, Hendon. And I think the Cronkies only sack him if the fans start going mad. Yeah, Ems Beats. That's as I see it. It's once the fans turn, there's no coming back. And that's going to take a lot for a lot of these Arteta sexuals to turn. But we're going to see. We're going to see. Anyway, people, thanks for watching. I'm out of it. Hope you enjoyed the show. And take care. Once and all. See you later.